I'm back again. It's Laura, and I have a second part of the cultural lens for you that I'm talking about. So we ended talking about cultures and Edgar Schein's levels of cultures. And I think I actually ended on Joanne Martin's, and then this is probably out of order, so my apologies. But we're going to go back to Schein's ideas of cultures are very difficult to see, especially our own culture. Why is that? Well, fish don't notice water because it's all around them. And we don't notice our culture because it's all around us. So one fish asks the other, water? What the heck's water? So if structure is hard controls in our organization, culture then is the soft controls in our organization. So an organization's capacity to execute its strategy depends on its hard infrastructure, its organizational structure and systems, and on its soft infrastructure, its culture and norms. So you can see now how the two fit together, and then how everything else in the middle kind of overflows. So if you don't believe in culture, or don't believe that we are um, custom or learn how to do things, then please take a couple minutes to decipher this page. So I won't make you wait a long time. Here's the reading of the page. If you do not think training affects the way you approach the solution of a problem or develop your insight into it, check yourself out on the way this paragraph is written. Inside your intrinsic style resides both a resistance and a compulsion to approach new solutions. However, inside your training and experience lies a procedural resistance to simply start reading at the bottom of a page. The structural prejudice contained in the alphabet and language styles is as real as a prejudice against an attitude toward the role of the human in psychology. We are trained to start in the upper left, not in the lower left. So infrastructure in every organization, and when we talk about change and when and how culture is related, you can see at the very top of the infrastructure are what is physical in our organizations, the processes, the tools, the structures. This is a structural lens. It's most easiest to change that. And then the infrastructure, the strategy, systems, measurements, and rewards. Then we get down to behavioral, to changing behavior. And then finally, cultural. And if you look on the left-hand side, the easiest starts at the top in terms of how easy or how hard it is to change. The most difficult in the bottom. Easiest is physical, most difficult cultural. And on the right-hand side, short-term is at the top, and then long-term. So how long it takes to change structure in an organization? Not very long. It's the easiest and it's the shortest. However, when you want to change culture in an organization, it is the most difficult and it takes the longest. However, this means intentional cultural change. Cultures do change over time. It may not always be for the best, but it usually does happen over time, and it changes whether we try to change it or not. So just some ways that you can start to look at your own culture, because it is hard, is to try to be an impartial observer of your culture in action during meetings or during events, to look at what's going on with an eye of an outsider. Watch for emotions during a typical day, during meetings, during interchanges. So these are indications of what people value. And we tend not to get excited or upset about things that are not important to us. But when something happens and people do get upset or get wound up, that usually means it's because what's happening is important to them. Also, to look at the objects and artifacts, to watch for things that are not present. versus what you may expect to be present. So just some ideas. And then a hearty thank you for coming back and listening to the last part of this PowerPoint. I can't talk. I'm a little bit brain dead. So thank you very much.